Even if they know.
What?
Even if they know, they'll be alright. You gotta catch us. Yeah, life is
Unfolding nicely.
It
I
is.
felt like it was chaotic for the past 3 years, and I just now started to feel like, oh my God, I can do this. Even with all the shit hitting me in the face, I'm like,
and that's real, right? That's real. Because like one thing I'll tell you is back in the day, like I literally just pressed record on everything. Like we just started like 20 seconds ago. You can come in. What's up?
Yeah, we are recording.
Yeah, we're recording right now. You come by.
She don't want to be on your
You
TV show.
You want to be on? Well, Well, thank you for allowing us to be in your space. Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. I think we got the dogs in the bag.
There are no dogs.
What are you talking about? There's 2 dogs right there.
They're the baby. I was literally just telling her, you need to get a pet. And she's like, we don't do dogs in this house.
You know how it goes. You just got to show up with the dog.
You know, you're right. But the thing is, I have to be here for a period of time for her to become acclimated with the dog while I'm here.
Yes.
And then, because she might let the dog out.
That weekend, be right back at the pound.
Yeah, it's just like, whose random dog is this? I've never seen that dog in my life. That's going to be her. Is this anybody's dog?
But we did that to my mom. She ain't want dogs, she ain't want cats, but she got a dog named Prada. Best dog I ever had. Yeah.
Look.
And trust me, it's going to change your life.
She started walking away. She's done. You're going to be, dogs really will make you happy. Mm-hmm. And then you'll treat them like a baby.
Honestly, and especially if you do the time to train them, they'll be great. Because I don't have time right now, so I have cats, right? I have cats. I know. Just animals in general for them. Well, I have cats.
She's like, I'd rather eat it.
Huh?
She's like, I'd rather eat it.
Oh, no. But they mess up the house. Like, there's no... I don't think you can train a cat to not mess up your house.
Yes, you can.
Really?
Yeah.
How?
You got to have them as kittens, and you just got to walk through the process like you do a dog. Like, no. You got to punish them. Not beat them, but you got to, there's, negative reinforcements, and then there's positive reinforcements. Right. And I'm not talking about slave beating like we did when we were children. I'm talking about,
like we did when we were... Do you want to talk about that? Oh, okay. Okay. We're not. Listen, we're gonna cut that. Just so we know, okay? Just. Listen, we're just here to be real. That's all.
It was a part of my life. It was a part of your life. Everyone's changed. We have a better relationship now.
What's up? Right now, yes, I've been recording. Ever since you walked in.
I have the microphone on. Bawel? Uvleyon?
You sure? Okay.
Yeah,
we're doing great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for the wine also.
She want to be here so bad.
I love it. Just come in.
You want to sit, Mom? There's an extra seat. It's okay.
No, she's okay. But we'll thank you. We'll get right back into it though. Are you feeling like yourself today?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
You seem really excited to say that.
Yeah, I've been feeling really good.
And what emotions, or can you describe to me, that come with feeling like yourself?
I finally feel like, when you're a little kid and they buy you shoes, but they bought it a little bit bigger because they want you to grow into it and they want to last as an economic purchase.
Okay.
I feel like I'm at that age now where the shoes finally fit and there's no discomfort and there's no extra socks. I just put my socks on, I put the shoes on, lace them the way that I need to, and I'm moving without any complications or discomfort.
That was very well put. I like that analogy. That was good.
That's how I feel. I feel like I am very settled in my skin and I like it.
Okay. Have you always felt comfortable in your skin?
No.
I mean, obviously saying you grew into it. What supported you in that process?
Me literally forcing myself to do things that make me feel uncomfortable and are outside of my comfort zone, faking it
Even
until I
faking it.
made it.
I like that. I like that.
People talk shit about it, but it's so real. Like, you have to practice something until it becomes like a habit in your life.
And it's scary to think about that sometimes, though.
I think so. I think sometimes there are, maybe it was the way you were raised, maybe it's your environment, or maybe it's just who you are. Like, you came as a soul with all of these fears and things, but like you grow up and it's like, oh man, I really want to do this, but I shouldn't. And there's like a long list of why you shouldn't do it. And it has nothing to do with like ending your life, or it has nothing to do with like your like lack of safety. And so it's just like sometimes, you don't want people to see you. It could be you don't want people to talk about you. You don't want people to judge you. You don't want like other people's opinions to impact how they view you, you know? And I think I kind of like I let that go like a long time, and I've just been working at it for so long now that now I feel like I really don't have the time to incorporate someone else's opinions of me, especially when it's not improving me.
Wow. Okay. So I like how you said sometimes it's like how you learned and you experienced life, right? What are some things that you feel shaped you negatively? Like didn't allow you to grow and properly fit the shoes in the time that you wanted to.
Oh my God. So we were friends in high school, right?
Yes. Yeah.
My parents were really strict.
Okay. Okay. We are in your parents' home right now, so let's be mindful.
They're so different now, but like the times that I hung out with you guys as a group was like the only times that I've had. But I know that there were many times where you guys were hanging out and I couldn't go. Like, my mom literally wouldn't let me. My mom literally wouldn't let me out the house. She was just like, no, you know? And I was lucky to go to Arlene's house because she was in the building. You feel me?
Mhm.
But like outside of that, I couldn't go. And I felt like that was just, I know she was being protective and she's a Haitian mom. And, a lot of other girls have probably experienced this in our culture. But for me, it just felt like I had these big ass shoes on that I was just ready to fill, but I couldn't because I wasn't allowed to, you know?
Yeah, I hear where you're coming from.
So like there were times where like I'd be at school and I just felt like I didn't even fit in, even though I was a part of the friend group. I still felt like an outsider because there were just so many experiences outside of school that I was missing out on. And like, like even when I went into college, I lived at home for college and she still was like, no, you can't go nowhere. And it's like, I am like past 18. And
Mm-hmm.
she's like, I don't
Ready,
care. This
ready
is my
to.
house. Se caimue. And so there were times where I was just like, I really want to be a part of these experiences. And there are things that I wish I did when I was a lot younger that I didn't have to experience, like in my 20s when I wasn't here and had full freedom,
Like,
right?
what's something that you experienced in your 20s that you wish you experienced earlier?
So, like, even though drinking alcohol is illegal and, smoking weed is illegal for people who are under 21, I wish I really, like, went in on that and just got sick, did all the stupid things. Like, I
Uh-huh.
did get sick, but, like, I mean, I really wish, like, I exhausted that battery of experimentation with alcohol so that I wouldn't be in my 20s like exhausting it then around people who are like, damn, what is wrong with this girl? She cannot handle her. I remember, like, can't
Oh,
hang.
I see what you mean.
Like, I just, yeah. And now, like, I'm 32. I'm 32.
We
Oh
here,
my
baby.
God.
We here. We here. I know. I turned 32 last week.
Happy belated birthday.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my God. Damn.
Yes. I know. And I work with kids, so they remind me every day. Every day.
Oh my God. Um, and now I just have this really great relationship with alcohol, and I don't even smoke anymore because it's just, I'll just be tired and go to sleep. Like, I'm not here for, it's not for me. So it took me a while to get here, but if I started younger, I would have had a different experience in my 20s
Uh-huh.
where it wouldn't have impacted me so negatively. Yeah. But I mean, it is whatever. Like, everything happens when it's supposed to, I
Yeah,
guess.
we're all on our own paths, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
Regardless of anything, there's no cheat in the journey. feel like.
No. Oh my God, there's none. And even if you try to cheat it, it'll still come back to you where you have to fulfill the thing that you were supposed to the right way,
Yeah.
you know?
And like I just for perspective's sake of the possibilities, like what if you started earlier, and because you started earlier and had less control, it became an addiction,
Mm-hmm.
rather than just something that it was so new to you that your body's trying to figure out how to get comfortable with it,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, absolutely. I could be a crackhead right now.
I didn't want to say crackhead, but
Nah.
because I am learning that it's a person that does crack. You gotta be.
Words mean things. I could have been an alcoholic.
That's true, and that's quite a thing to deal with. And when you see
Yeah.
it in other people,
Yeah, it ruins people's lives. It ruins families, careers. Yeah.
So you said your mom was very strict, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you started experiencing life in your 20s. Like, so what changed it? What was the shift that allowed you to
I had
start
to move out. I had
experience
to
life?
leave.
You
I
just
had
gotta
to
get out of the
leave.
crib,
I
pack
had,
your bags.
I was like, I literally had the stick with my stuff in the bundle. And I was like, I'm out of here. Peace. because I was 26 when I moved out of my parents' house, and like it was great because I saved money, but it was just like I wanted to be an adult, but they still saw me as a kid. And that's when I was just like, you know what? It's time for me to go. I'm going to pay my own bills and I'm going to take care of myself and it'll be fine. And it was really hard for her to relinquish that relationship and control, you know? And then once I did it, I lived with this girl that we were not compatible. We weren't like so different in culture, but we were just different in personality, and that it didn't really work out. I had to end the lease early, but I lived with her because I was so afraid that I wasn't going to make it on my own, that I chose to live in this miserable roommate situation.
So look at you.
It was
Now,
so chaotic.
now you're the person not letting yourself fit the shoes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I should have done more research on places that I could have lived by myself because I had the income to do it. You know what I mean? But I was just so scared to live by myself at 26 years old that I lived with this girl for like 10 months. And then I was like, I've had enough. I'm breaking the lease. And I was afraid to break the lease even earlier. I should have left at 6 months. I was afraid that the landlord was going to hate me and we were going to have all these issues. Like confrontation was just so hard for me. I didn't want to cause anybody inconvenience or discomfort. And then I finally was just like, I'm going to live by myself. I ended up finding a 1-bedroom in the same vicinity of where I was before. It had a saltwater pool. It had older residents, so it was quiet. It wasn't, too much activity. And I really enjoyed it and I liked it. I was living by myself and it was great. And then I was like, okay, so I'm living by myself. I figured out how to be an adult, cooking and all these things, but I'm still too close to home. You know what I mean? My parents live 15 minutes away.
Okay. They pop up on you and stuff, like type of thing?
No.
Like, wait a second.
No. It was a gated community, so they had to call me for me to open the gate for them. But I was just like, I want to spread my wings more. Like I want to go out more. So like in 2019, I was like, you know what? I'm moving to New York City when my lease ends. So 2020 comes and I'm like, boom, I'm going to keep my job, but I'm going to move to New York City. And my parents are like, that's so far, Krystal. Like really, just all the negative things that go into that. And I was just like, yeah, I don't really care what you're saying. A lot of other people were like, why are you going so far? Why don't you just live in Stanford? No, I'm going back to New York and I'm gonna see you guys later. I moved to Harlem every day that week. After work, I took the train and I was like meeting real estate agents, looking for apartments. Finally found one and I was like signing the lease. I'm here.
And where were you working?
I worked for Spectrum in Stanford.
So you were living in Stanford, working in Stanford, and just ready for a complete change?
Yeah, I was in Bridgeport, 15 minutes from here. I was in Bridgeport when I left that girl's house.
Okay.
She was like near Fairfield Metro, like Black Rock.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Bridgeport, somewhere close to that area, but it was 15 minutes from here. And I was like, this is a great place. It's a great apartment. I love my parents, but I want to go somewhere else and like really spread my wings. And I was like, I'm moving back to New York City. So I moved to Harlem.
And I know from talking to most people know when I have somebody come on, I request a reference, right? And talking to your reference, there was something that happened, particularly after Harlem, that really personified spreading your wings.
Yes. I lived there for a year and COVID happened. I moved in 2 weeks later. President Trump is like, I'm shutting this shit down. And then I'm like, wait, I just moved to New York, like the most poppin', most energetic, most like magical place that you could live on the East Coast. You know how it is when you go to New York. Anything can happen. And sometimes it's great and sometimes it's not. And I was just like, oh my God, like the life that I thought I was gonna have is not happening. And it forced me to go within. It forced me to, check in with myself in a way that I like haven't, you know? And when I did that, by like the time my lease was about to end, I was quitting my job at Spectrum.
Damn.
And I was there for
So
like almost 7 years.
that's an awakening right there. So like you really sat and went within yourself. What did you find?
I found that like I can do anything that I want to. I just have to try, And yes, it's going to be scary. And yes, it might not even work out what you're trying to do or planning to do, but the fact that I tried gives me something that I can move around with and carry that's like, but I did it. And I think that gives you another level of confidence because like I was without a job for 5 months. I packed up my shit and I drove across the country to go live in Los Angeles.
And how do you do that?
I just April 9th was my last day. That week, that 2 weeks before, I was crying my eyes out, telling all of my like leaders I'm leaving. Everyone thought I was having a mental breakdown. They were trying to get me help. They were like, take some time off, Krystal, come back when you feel better. They really thought like I was having a mental breakdown because I moved to New York, I'm by myself, and they're just like, she wants to quit now, she's losing her mind. And I was like, no. Although I'm sad, I am grieving leaving this job because I've been here since I graduated college, but it's time for me to do something else. It's time for me to experience something else outside of this workspace, outside of Connecticut. I'd like to go live in Los Angeles, And
How do you choose Los Angeles?
I've always wanted to live there. Like after college, like when I was coming up on ending college, like my senior year, I wanted to move there, but I got this great job and it just kept on getting better. So I never really moved there because, I had so much stability. I had a really good paycheck. Like there was so much opportunity, I was being safe.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about getting to LA. Like how do you find this your normal in this new space?
It's crazy. So I started to pack up my apartment and put all the big things in a storage unit. And then I gave whatever I didn't really need away for nothing. And then I packed my car with all of my essentials and I just started driving. I,
That sounds.
I just started.
So you drove from Harlem to LA.
No, I was here in Connecticut. Yeah, I was saying goodbye here because my apartment lease ended April 1st.
Okay.
And then by April 9th, I had to quit my job. So I was literally living with my friends in Stamford, like bouncing from house to house, just enjoying the intimate moments before I went on this journey. And I was so grateful that my friends were like, you can stay with me. Okay. Like it'll be fine. And so April 13th, I drove to Pennsylvania. I drove for 7 hours. I was so happy and excited to be out that like it didn't feel like 7 hours. It just felt like I was flying.
And you made this drive by yourself?
Yeah, by myself. I tried to get people to go with me, but nobody could commit. And that's when I realized nobody's supposed to go with me. So I'm just going to have to go on this journey by myself.
Yeah, nobody was losing their mind around that time as well.
Well, everything was shut down.
No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. I'm just kidding. Because I do want to commend that. Like, it's a very powerful thing. Like,
I didn't have no job waiting for me in California. I didn't have no place to live. I had family that I've never met before. So you know that could either be a really positive interaction or they're just like, we want really
Yeah,
nothing to do
nothing.
with you.
Mm-hmm.
I had friends that I had in college that I wasn't even that close with, but I knew they were living there and we were on Instagram. So I was hitting them up like, I'm
I was
trying to
like,
come through, let's link, you know? And it took me 2 months to get there. I drove through these states, and each state it's like I was spending more and more time. Then I got to Colorado, and I was supposed to be there for 4 days. I ended up spending 2 months.
in Colorado.
Yes.
And what made you stay so long?
I just kept meeting all these really wonderful people. I kept on having such a good time. It was like being in college with like adults, you
Nice.
know? And they were just so free and like adventurous. And I was doing all these things I never did before, like camping and like going on these crazy, beautiful hikes. Like it was amazing. I met wonderful, kind, beautiful people. Yeah.
So you sharing the fact that we do know each other from high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, I follow each other on Instagram. There was a point where I did start seeing you post things in the wilderness in various places that I wouldn't normally see a black woman, where there was some concern on occasion. But I think that was when you were in the midst of just trying everything.
I was scared. I got invited to go camping and I was the only girl and it was just a whole bunch of dudes. And my mind started racing because I didn't really know these people that well. And there was one guy that like, you know, we liked each other, so we were talking and he invited me. So I was like, okay, like I'm down to go, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But then when I showed up and it's all these dudes, like spiraling in my head and just mad quiet because you know that historically, you know, like a large group of white people and one black person doesn't always bode well, you
Uh-huh.
know, historically,
Yes.
right? And I'm in a place where I don't really know these people. I'm in the middle of Colorado. My cell phone's not working. So in my head, I'm just thinking all these things that could happen to me as a young woman with all of these men, right, who are overpowering. But I just tried to keep my cool and maintain positivity, even though inside I'm like, at any moment, this could turn for the worse, and my family probably will never see me again, and I just have to deal with that. But it didn't end up that way, so that's, you know, that's fine. And then there were other girls that showed up later, like they were working and stuff, like other
God
people's
bless. God
girlfriends
bless. God bless.
showed up. But it was just, it was, you know, it was my first time going camping with strangers, going camping at all. So it's like, you know, there's a lot of fear around that.
So so a couple questions. Did you enjoy yourself, and what are some of your favorite memories from camping?
It was hard to enjoy myself when I was spiraling just because of the thoughts, but I did enjoy myself. I did enjoy the fact that like we camped by a large like river, and so you can hear like the water rushing and you can hear animals, and like when the sun starts to come up and like you can hear the birds, and it's just so serene and quiet and healthy. You know, like there was no ambulance, there's no cop cars, there's no people yelling at each other outside or enjoying themselves outside. There's not a lot of things going on, a lot of activity, you know?
Yeah, it's really embracing that moment.
And it's beautiful. Once the sun hits and you come out of the tent, it just looks, everything looks beautiful, you know? Like,
I gotta try it out. You recommend it to people?
I would highly, 10 out of 10.
Have you gone camping in Connecticut?
No.
Do you plan to?
I would love to, yeah.
You should plan something. Put something
I used to go
together.
hiking. Like I would go hiking here. Like I would go hiking up Sleeping Giant in Hamden.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'd go with different groups of friends and we'd take different trails. They have so many. Some are really hard, some are easy. So yeah.
For Hamden?
Mm-hmm. Sleeping Giant.
I went on my first hike actually. Not in 2022. It was like an actual hike with a friend. I was like, wow, this is different.
It's nice, right?
It's very nice.
Don't you feel like powerful once you finish it?
Yeah, definitely. You feel very powerful, but like getting used to the scenery is like a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? Like it's beautiful, yeah, but then it's like if I slip right now, it's kind of over for me.
Yes. The dangers of being injured in the middle of nowhere.
Like I don't know where I was hiking, but it's like you have to go. It's like the path gets tighter and tighter and tighter, and then to the right is just trees like 30 feet down, and then the river. You know, so it's like I wasn't prepared to see that,
I get that. But you have to trust your body can get you through that, you know?
Yeah, we got through, but I don't know if me being scared of heights is something that I just got to be more cautious of, you know? Let's just be mindful. But so where are you residing now? So you originally from Connecticut, went to Harlem, said your goodbyes, went to LA.
Yeah, I lived there for 5 months. And then I was like, oh my God, I missed that little town. I'm just going to move back and learn how to snowboard.
What little town?
Gunnison, where I live now.
What's it called?
Gunnison.
Gunnison? Mm-hmm. Okay. And was that was the time that you drove through?
Yes.
Wow, now you call it home.
Yeah, I live there now. And there's a mountain resort town where people go snowboarding and ski. It's called Crested Butte. It's like a shitty Aspen.
A shitty Aspen? Why you gotta be shitty though?
Because it is.
Is Aspen nice?
Yeah.
It's like really beautiful?
Aspen is like 5th Avenue in the mountains.
Really?
Yeah.
And then what's this called? This other place?
Crested Butte.
That would be like Greenwich Ave?
Greenwich Ave in Bridgeport.
Oh my goodness. I don't like that actually because I just updated my ID and now I live in Bridgeport for real. So take that back. You okay? Do you need more water?
You just started saying that and I started laughing.
And then it just got. I got you. Mm-hmm. So how many years have you been in Gunnison now?
I'm walking into my 3rd year.
3rd year in Gunnison. What's the population?
Like 10,000 people.
10. That's a big change coming from Fairfield Metro.
There's 1 high school, 1 middle school, and a whole bunch of like preschools.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 preschools, 4 preschools, but it's 1 high school. So that's.
Are there a lot of other Black people there?
I'm like 1 out of 5.
1 out of 5?
I'm being dramatic. It has to be like maybe 30 Black people.
Okay.
And I don't even know all 30. I know like maybe 10 of them.
And the other 20 is just like hiding.
Yeah. They're over there for a reason. They like, don't talk to me.
All right, we got some people in Whitsec and Gunnison.
No. Oh my God, no. They just, some people just don't want to, deal with other people. They just want to live, No,
I respect that. That. I saw a video on your Instagram. You were out in the woods shooting guns.
Oh, yeah. So when I first got there, I met somebody and we started dating and it became a long-term relationship. And he has a cabin in the middle of the woods and he's a cowboy. So he snowboards, he fishes, he shoots guns, and we would shoot guns together, like target practice out in the middle of nowhere.
So you met somebody and through them, it sounds like you experienced a lot of different things.
Like I snowmobiled for the first time. And the first time I did it by myself, like I used to ride on behind him. And snowmobiling is like a jet ski, but in the snow. And the first time I did it by myself, I hit a tree and flipped out of the snowmobile and hurt my knee. And like like these different sports that you do over there are so dangerous. Like you get hurt so fast. I've never been hurt like I have been there trying all these new things. Yeah, it took 3 months for it to get back to normal.
Well, is there anything that you've tried there that you feel like, has just become a part of who you are now?
Yeah, I would fish anywhere I went.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. I'd go fishing for fish, and I'd want to eat it.
Did you learn to scale it and all that stuff?
No, but I mean, my grandma's taught me how to do that for here. So it's fine.
Well, all push come to shove. You can do what you got.
Yeah, I got it. Is there a YouTube video on how to clean this fish?
There is. I mean, I only mention that because fishing is definitely dope. Like I have a lot of different friends that do it, and I feel like I go once a summer with somebody. Mm-hmm, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I went with my neighbor one time, and we caught a couple fish, and he showed me how to scale it, cut it, gut it.
That's dope.
It was nice. It was a cool guy.
Yeah. What's so funny?
No, I was thinking about something else. But I'm sorry. You had mentioned to me before that you we started off actually talking about not fitting the shoes, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like with life, and we go through waves, right? All right, some days we might feel good. Some days we might feel like we're comfortable on our skin. Some other days, have you ever felt too big for your shoes?
Um, yeah, there's sometimes where like I have a fear of being seen and perceived by other people, so I try to like water myself down, and then I'm like unhappy. And then there are times where I'm like I'm so in my head and insecure that I can't even be this bright big thing that I know I can be, you know?
Or that you are?
Yeah. And now I'm in a space of just like those things are not a part of who I am anymore. It's almost like I'm leaving behind those shoes that I really was trying to fit in and walking without shoes now. You know, like I don't really need to fit into anything actually. Like
I
the
like that.
ground and I are doing well,
I
you
like that.
know?
I like
Yeah.
that. And I guess I mentioned that because it's something that even myself I think about. Of To your point, ego. Sometimes you realize, all right, am I this person that I tell myself I am to be? And you want to get that?
Yeah.
It's like you get to the point where like I fit these shoes now, but then you have to you reflect and remind yourself all the things that you have been able to accomplish while chasing being able to fit these shoes, right?
Mhm.
But so much of like when you get to that a place of self-awareness, you're like, I don't need to think so highly of myself or compare myself to these other things anymore. And there's a freedom that comes to that, but there's a challenge in maintaining that perspective, especially with society and what social media puts on us every day.
I agree. Um, I think the societal impacts have always been something that I've really tried hard to rebel against. And as I rebel and I like go through each stage of my life, I'm learning like, oh, was I really rebelling? Because there's still certain things that I'm unaware of that I'm doing for the sake of being like approved by society, you know, and like fit into society. And so for me, it's like I always like I hope that I can maintain integrity and be someone who's kind and be someone who works well with others, but also like show them when they are not being that to me, that I can also stand up for myself and not be afraid to have those conversations. But then also like do the shit that you want to do in life and not worry about who's watching you, you know, and what they're going to say about it. Cause like 9 times out of 10, there's a lot of people with opinions about what you're doing and they're not even doing it. You know, they're not even happy with their lives. You know what I
That's a
mean?
big part.
And so the societal impacts of just like straying away from not caring or not incorporating those ideas into your
Mm-hmm.
life can help you to be like fortifying this person who's just like I can I can live my life and not be or not be impacted by what other people are thinking or saying about me. And even though it's hard because of society, I think once you start to make it a practice, it gets easier to do over time.
And what advice would you give somebody that is struggling with stuff like that?
I have so many things that I could say about like a variety of subjects, but the core one is that if there is something that you'd like to do, I would advise you to do it because you only have 80 years. And you don't want to spend 80 years trying to please people who might die before you and then it's like what do you have left, you know? Or they're out there literally living their life but telling you how to live your life opposite of what really pushes you towards your passion, you know, and what makes you feel alive. Why would you do that, you
Okay.
know?
Um. So you seem to be very fearless right now, and that's a mindset that has taken practice of you trying and reminding yourself consistently, right?
Mhm.
Can you pinpoint a certain process that like you had to look back on and say, you know what, I I feel this way because these different things. Like when I see this, it feels that. When I do this, I feel this way on how you respond to certain situations.
Oh, yeah. It's just experience. The process is literally doing it. There are certain situations in my life that I look back on and I'm like, I wish I could have done that better. I wish I could have showed up differently. I wish I didn't let my fear like overpower my ability to really think about what's happening and see what is happening before me and not manifest all of these monsters and things, and then me project them out onto people who weren't actually doing those things. It's literally experience. You have to try to do the thing that you're afraid of, and you have to do it again and again and again and again and again until it's like, oh my god, what was I? Then you look back and you're like, what was the problem?
Yeah, yeah. What was the problem? And then if you're gonna be real with yourself, it was yourself,
Yeah, it was
and that's the
myself.
crazy
It
part.
was me.
Um, and I don't mean to say it. I don't want you to come across. I hope that doesn't come across negatively right now. I mean that generally.
No, I am grateful for that version because I wouldn't be here right now if it didn't happen. If the experience never happened, I'd probably be on my way to do it right now at 32, which I don't want to, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Don't She doesn't want to be on the camera.
Oh, she. Oh my god. Yeah.
What is wrong with you? You keep coming here.
Oh my god. I looked back and she was gone.
She's No, we're not going to the living room.
No, we're okay over here. We're okay.
Yeah, you could I'll give you a tour.
Okay, I definitely need a tour. You should have offered that right when I opened the door, though. Whatever.
I'm sorry. You just got right to set shit up. The
In the
living
front.
room is really nice. We have a fireplace.
Oh my, that'd have been so nice. That'd have been so nice. We should have had the fireplace going. I'd have brought wood and everything.
You
So
know?
something that you said that I wanted to make sure I get back on that. I like you said the way things that are happening, and then we start going through things, and when things aren't happening the way we want them, we start to visualize them as issues, right? And then visualizing people as those issues, but you said particularly the monsters. And I really liked how you put that.
Yeah, because like people sometimes call them demons, but it's just like I think they're just fairy tale monsters that are manifested through our emotions. It's
Mm-hmm.
not the actual people that we're facing. And maybe there's certain things about them that triggers those feelings to come up and
Mm-hmm.
and make them seem as monsters, but we are responsible for ourselves. We're responsible for how we show up, we're responsible for how we present ourselves, and it's just like when you start to deal with things, you can deal with them better when you start to go through experiences. When you start to really live your life how you choose, you cannot wake up one day and say, damn, my life sucks because so and so told me not to do something. If you do it and it still sucked, it was your decision, and you shouldn't have any qualms with that, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
It's empowering to take control. A lot of
Yeah.
people, and damn, I think for because of fear, they choose not to take control because it's easier to play the blame game.
And something beautiful about taking control of your life is that sometimes it doesn't even end up shitty. Sometimes when you take a risk, it actually ends up working out, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
then it's like you have this success story, and but the success story is literally what is the catalyst? You taking the risk and being fearless, you know?
Thank you for that. No, it's okay. um, you said leaving home had to be the biggest thing that allows you to be free, right?
Mm-hmm.
And spread your wings. But when I asked you where would be a space that meant a lot to you, right? And you chose your parents' home. We talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I've spent some time away, and there's been a lot of healing that has happened between my parents and I. And it wasn't always peachy keen, but now, like, we're all adults. And I think there's just like a new level of respect for me from both of them. And I think that we've talked through things and just tried to sort like some stuff out. And it's just like we're moving forward, like in a whole new book. It's not a new chapter, it's a whole new book. And I'd like it to be healthy, and they're getting older. I love them. They're they're not the worst people, but there have been things. So it's just like I could either be sad about it and commiserate and hate them, or I can heal myself, in turn healing myself, healing the relationship with them, and have something that's better as we get older. Like I said, we only have 80 years.
Mm-hmm.
I can't live my life hating people. What I recognized throughout my experiences is that some unhealed relationships led me to be in relationships and become the person that is unhealed, causing trauma to other people, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. As they say, hurt people,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So like, especially and it's interesting when you think that I you're going to spread your wings, right? I like that you're able to realize that's not synonymous with healing. Like growth and healing are two different things.
Yeah, you can grow and still harbor negative, traumatic things. Now you're like experiencing life, but you're probably not experiencing it as good as it could be if you transform that pain into something else.
Mhm. You gotta take those shackles off because
Yeah,
that is something that it weighs you down. Like
you're
you're,
recreating the same problems with different people.
and you those cycles. The triggers are not just the triggers, but the characteristics of the cycles might not be present right away.
Hmm.
But like this the difference is much they're farther separated apart, I
Hmm.
should say. Like you don't go through something over and over again as you grow. Now you go through it maybe once every 3 months, but until you heal, you're gonna keep going through that
Hmm.
thing, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You know, and I would say as a Haitian American, that newfound relationship with your parents as an adult is so fun. Like it's beautiful. You know what I mean? Like really seeing your parents in this new light. I don't want to speak for all Haitians, but you know how that relationship can be. Like you are really the child. You know, um, and that takes me back to what you talked about and what you're doing in Gunnison to make you feel more comfortable with yourself.
Oh, yeah. I have been trying all these different things. So, like, for the past 3 years, I've been a part of Move the Butte. It's a dance performance that happens every winter, and almost all of the women from Gunnison Valley to Crested Butte come together. There's different choreographers, there's a whole bunch of dance pieces, and we all practice from December to February to put on this show for people for 3 nights.
You put on a show?
Yeah,
I didn't know
next
about that.
weekend, a dance. Yeah.
Okay.
And I know, and I'm so nervous because I've missed so many dance practices, and the girls are like, "You can't drop," and I'm just like, "But I don't even know how the dance ends." I was in Colombia when they were still doing that. So then I was just like, "All right, like I'll just practice with my roommate when I get home tomorrow, and whatever happens next week happens next week. I'm here to have fun." There's also a somatics, like a sensual somatics dance class that I've been doing too. That's a little bit more intimate and private between my girlfriends. One of my girlfriends is trained in a pole dance called S curve, and she has no mirrors in her home, but she has like one pole, and we all listen to her voice to like do these movements with our bodies that are so empowering and beautiful, and they kind of help us to reconnect with our bodies in a sexual or sensual way, like an erotic way, that's like absence of like a gaze. like a male gaze or like absence of judgment, absent of like, we're doing this to gear up to be sexy for someone else. Like this is solely just for our enjoyment and our empowerment. And I got to tell you, like the first time I did the class, I left feeling like I am the baddest in the world and I can do anything. And so, I'm so grateful for her to do that because she started a business out of it. It was literally, she had a housewarming and everybody saw the poll and everybody got on it. My friend's husband was like on it and he's just like having so much fun. And another guy was on it and all these women were on it. And it's just like, it's not something like undesirable or like taboo, like
It's getting people to become more comfortable with their sexuality as well, to be able to move like that and not be judged like you talk about.
Yeah, and not judge yourself. Like the whole point is to not looking at yourself while you're doing these movements is also really empowering because you get to feel it a little more than just like looking to see if you're doing it perfectly, which can ruin the connection that you're trying to make with your body.
I like that.
Yeah.
There was a topic that I wanted to touch on right now that I forgot.
Simply. Yeah. I can list all the things that I've done. Snowboarding.
Nope.
Fly fishing.
Nope. Got it. I don't know how I let it slip. Mm-hmm. What were you doing in Colombia?
I went to Carnaval.
What is Carnaval?
Carnaval is a Caribbean experience that's been happening for, I don't know, like I want to say a few hundred years, where the indigenous people or just the people of the land come together and celebrate. Sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's like one day, but it's basically like a masquerade ball of costume and culture and food and music and celebration. And pure freedom.
How did you hear about this to go in Colombia specifically?
My friend from high school, I've been asking all my friends, like, I want to go to Colombia, like, I want to go to South America, somebody take me. And she just was like, an opportunity came up, let's be a part of Carnival. So we bought tickets to be a part of this like group. And then we went for 8 days and we had the best time.
Wow. Yeah. So how far out was this planned?
I want to say like December.
So it was like a drop everything, and we going that month.
Yeah. Yes. It was like drop everything, we're going. Yes.
I love that for you. Mm-hmm. You, based on your Instagram, it looks like you, I don't know if it is true, but you travel a lot?
Yeah, that's my love language.
And so what is your favorite place?
Haiti.
All right, now that we got that out of the way, what's your favorite place? Come on, let's be real. Come on. Other than the motherland, because you got a different relationship with that. That's like reminiscent, you know what I mean?
My favorite place, I guess it's like exploring the Caribbean side of South America.
Okay.
And it's the first country that I visited is Colombia. It's Cartagena is black as hell. Okay. There's so many black people. There's so much diversity, but there's also like an essence of Haitian culture in there too, with the food and the music that I listen to. It's Spanish, but it's like Afro-Latina, it's like, and for me, it just felt like I felt comfortable.
I like that. Like that's a good point, because I wanna go to Honduras and hang out with the Garafunas.
You can totally do that and you'll be fine.
I look forward to that.
Yeah. And Mrs. Beret taught us really good Spanish. Yeah. So you should get back into that.
Yeah, ahora yo hablo español.
Sí, I love that.
Sí, mi español es muy bien. Yo, sí.
Put this in the video.
Tengo estudiantes que solo hablan español.
Oh my God.
¿Verdad?
Wow. Sí. Increíble. Yo hablo español, pero not good. Like, muy malo. Sí, yo necesito practicar.
Pero cuando necesitas ayuda.
Yeah. Sí, habla conmigo. Uh-huh. Gracias.
All right, we back here.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, is there anything you want to share?
Well, since this whole thing was about fear, uh-huh. Something that I just think that people should like take with them is like just do it. You know, Nike literally says it. Like that phrase is a cliche and overly used for a reason.
Bless you.
It's a cliche because it's overly used for a reason. It is important that you live your life exactly how you wish it to be, as long as you're not hurting anybody or hurting yourself, because there's no good that comes into following in the footsteps of someone else. You know, like life is so beautiful and so mysterious and magical. If you take the risk, you will be supported.
Thank you. This is something to hold us.
Mm-hmm.
What was
I
that?
hope I wasn't rambling.
The more personable we can get, the more it means something. Like you're talking about going out and then going camping and being the only girl there is something that a lot of people, I feel like when they hear it, they're gonna first off come off judgmental. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
they're gonna be like, this girl is crazy.
But when they hear your story, you hear how it plays out, and they're gonna have to take a second and think about their process. Like, why did I think that? Like,
Because we all have the same kind of fear.